Well, hello everyone. Welcome to SQL Querious. This tutorial is a series of short videos that cover SQL challenge puzzles and break down the steps of forming a great SQL query. If you're new to SQL, it's a database language that's simple to learn but difficult to master. If you think you might be interested in SQL but aren't quite sure, then you might be SQL Querious. Now today we're going to be using a database administration tool known as Postgres. This is an application that runs off of your computer but through your browser. If I jump in here to the browser, you see I have open here a table called employees. I've written a query to select star from employees, which returns every record. You see here we have all sorts of profile information on the employees, about 1,000 rows to be exact, and it's complete with their first and last name, their email, their hire date, but for the purpose of this puzzle, most importantly, the department and the salary. Now if I modify this query to order these records by salary in descending, you'll see that it returns the same records, but starting with the best paid employee going all the way to the least paid employee. And the difference goes from $166,000 all the way down to about $20,000. So the puzzle is, I'd like to write a query that returns a table that gives me the first name of the employee, the department they work in, and finally, the difference between what they're being paid versus the best paid employee in the company. So I'll give you a moment to pause the video and think through how you might solve this, and we'll be back with a couple of hints. Alright, so hopefully you've had a minute to think through that. So now a couple of hints. How would we approach something like this? Well, we know that we're going to have to use a subquery that's going to be a query within a query. And within that subquery, we're going to need to use the aggregated function max and apply it to salary so that we can access the best paid employee. Furthermore, we're probably going to need to use an alias on that internal query so that we can reference it by an order by function. So I'll go ahead and give you another minute to think through. Hopefully those hints help. Alright, and hopefully you've had a minute to try that out. So the best way to solve most SQL queries is to sort of back into them. And so let's first do a select on the max salary from the employee table. And that gives us the biggest salary, so $166,976. Now taking that, we know that if we were to subtract this from the salary in question, that would be the difference. But this would probably need to be our embedded function or our embedded query. And so then outside of that, we're going to have another select, which is going to be the first name and the department. And then using this subquery as the third column, we know that we're going to return all of this from the employee table. Now just for clarity, let's go ahead and bring this down to the next line. And furthermore, make sure I have my parenthesis there. We're going to need to order this by, and let's give this one an alias. So let's call this salary difference. So we can reference it here, and we'll order it in descending order. So if we have everything here correct, if I run this, it does indeed return the first name, the department, and the difference between what that employee is making versus the best paid employee in the company. And the way that we can prove this is if we go all the way down, the difference of 0 should be, in fact, the best paid employee, which would be Jacqueline from clothing. And so now if I go back and do another select star from employees and order by salary, descending, Jacqueline from clothing should be the best paid employee, which is what we have right here. Jacqueline, department clothing, at $166,000. All right, so it looks like we were able to solve this query. Hopefully this was fun and educational. I look forward to seeing everyone back again in the next video, and don't forget, stay SQL Querious.